Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to a new episode of When You're Delusional, You're Gonna Be on TikTok. I do hope you're gonna enjoy the video, so let's just get into it.
Something that I find really interesting about Andrew Tate, like, not because he's interesting, but like the following he's kind of gathered, is like a few years ago, the big, like, alt right men were Ben Shapiro, Jordan Peterson, Steven Crowder, like those guys. I would argue those were like the Holy Trinity. And like they're still obviously here wreaking havoc, but it's so interesting the kind of shift we've seen as to what kind of propaganda works best on insecure men. A few years ago, when these guys were at their peak, it was this kind of pseudo-intellectualism way of going about it. Like, whenever I was arguing with a man about Jordan Peterson, I had to, like, really go out of my way to explain to him, because the way they talk is with so many caveats. So their point is racist, homophobic, sexist, but the way they flower their language makes it very annoying. Whereas Andrew Tate just says bad stuff. Like, like most of the shit he says is just pretty straightforward, horrible. And I just find that really interesting, that kind of shift. Now, I'm truly just guessing here, but if I had to predict it was anything, I think it's like, ever since, I think like the true demise of Ben Shapiro and that whole group was the WAP outrage, because I think it like truly showed these guys and how pathetic they are, where it truly showed that like Ben Shapiro truly gets no bitches, and like anyone who follows him by extension will never get a bitch. With at least Andrew Tate, there's like this guise that he gets women, you know? There's this idea that he can get women. And especially since he really appeals to the male gaze with being very jacked, but like most women, majority of women would never find a man like that attractive. Also, Andrew Tate is definitely not getting women because he literally escaped America to live in Romania to evade sex trafficking laws. So definitely doesn't get any bitches.
Yeah, first of all, from this Romanian straight to you, suck my. Second of all, at least if you're gonna make a video this long talking about Jordan Peterson, Ben Shapiro, and Andrew Tate, at least do your fucking research. Ben Shapiro's married, he doesn't need to get no bitches. Jordan Peterson, also married, also doesn't need to get no bitches. Third of all, you refer as yourself and your gender as bitches? Not good. It really shows the level of intellect you have. And finally, to Andrew Tate, yeah, he gets bitches. He has a girlfriend, and because he looks good and has money, there's a lot of girls other than his girlfriends around him at all time. Those are in fact bitches, just like you are. And when he's saying whatever you classify as misogynistic, he's talking about girls like them and you. If you would have done some research, you would have known that he's talking about girls like you and he refers to them as bitches. But he also talks about different girls, different type of girls with different mentality, girls that don't participate in hookup culture, girls that don't have a high body count, and he no longer refers to them as bitches. As to why he's popular amongst men, it's not because we're all misogynistic pigs and suddenly we needed a leader. Most of the time when he talks about men, he talks about invisible men, and when he's talking about young men, it's a call for them to wake up and embrace their masculinity. Let's take a look at this video, for example. I know it's long, but bear with me for a moment.
But you're missing a very vital point of that story. You're right, but as a high-value woman, before you say to that man you can have a day off and you're allowed to be sad today, you will only even get with him. Let me change that. You will only even acknowledge he exists if he's ignored how he feels 99% of the time before that. Because if he was sad most of the time before that, he never would have got to a place where he could attract a woman like you. The man who works in Starbucks, who's sad all the time, you won't reply to him. Neither will any other female. So for women to come along and pretend they give a about the fact that most men are basically invisible. There's not a female on the planet who's invisible today. You can be a 4, overweight, fat, you'll still go to the club and get attention. 99% of the men go to the club and nobody even fucking talks to them. If they try and talk to a girl, they get blanked and ignored and told to. Most men are absolutely not really invisible. This is the truth about masculinity, right? It's very easy for women to sit here and complain about the top 2% of men. I met with this guy, he's arrogant, blah, 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 blah. Most men don't even exist. They send 10,000 DMs and never even get read, let alone replied to. So if you just sit here and say, I'll get a big G, a boss, a millionaire, and let him have a day off, very nice of you. I'm sure you would. But if a guy who wanted to have days off all the time, he never would have got important enough in the first place to attract a woman like you. And that is the reality. As a man, it's player versus player. It's ultimately competitive. And as a man, you have to outcompete the other man who's prepared to get up and do it anyway. That's how it works. There's no such thing as saying, I'm sad, I need 2 weeks off. Not as a man if you want to be important. Maybe as a chick, you want to put more foundation on and be hot again. Great. Not as a man. You want to be important as a man, you have shit to do. You have duties. This is how it exists. This is how it's always been.
And this right there is just one small example why men listen to him. Now, I don't agree with half of the things he says, but that's just me. Some men do, some men don't. Some men like him, some men hate his guts. That doesn't change the fact that he's well spoken, he's extremely intelligent, and he's a self-made millionaire. Men are looking up to those things. And even if men like him or not, we're all grown-ups, we're all different, we should be able to make our own minds. Except when you banned him, you turned him into a martyr and you only made it worse. As for you, princess, if you're scared a man like him is gonna look at you, don't. You could be covered in gold and still no man is gonna look at you. Cause you know, at some point in time, you're gonna open your mouth.
I hate to say it, but this.
She was all excited about what Princess said on, I'm guessing, Twitter. So let me read Princess's tweet. I would be submissive to my man if he's treating me the way I dream to be treated, putting me first, being faithful 100%, handling business in the household, fucking me good, making time for me, and making sure I'm good mentally and physically. I'll do whatever the fuck he say. So that's the text she responded to, but worry not guys, she's still a feminist. She said that in the caption of her video. Now let me respond point by point to that tweet. I would be submissive to my man if he's treating me the way I dream to be treated, so you need Prince Charming, cause you know, even your name on Twitter is Princess. Putting me first, so you need a simp. Being faithful 100%, you need a loyal subject. Handling business in the household, so you need a maid and a cook. Fucking me good, you need a fuck toy. Making time for me, and making sure I'm good mentally and physically, so you need a therapist. Now I hate to break it to you, but that man that you're looking for doesn't exist. And even if it does and you get him by some miracle, you're gonna turn him into a yes ma'am, and you're gonna lose any type of respect for him in maybe a month. After not more than a month, you're gonna go cheat on him with a dealer from the corner, or the hustler, or your boss at work, or whoever approaches you and says, yo.
The world record for the most number of orgasms in 1 hour by a female is 134, whereas the male world record is only a meager 16. And this is largely because the clitoris has more than double the number of nerve endings compared to the penis. So it's really such a shame that 1.2 billion men don't know where the clitoris is.
Ah, the old shaming tactics. Okay, since you're all this educated and all high and mighty, explain this article to me. Way too many women don't know where their vaginas are. In a recent survey of 1,000 women, 45% were unable to identify the vagina on a medical illustration of the female reproductive tract. So you expect me to know where it is? And funny enough, I do, but you don't. Okay, let's move on. How about this article? Quarter of women in America don't know where their vagina is, survey finds. More than half of women cannot correctly label the female reproductive system on a diagram, new poll finds. It must be misogyny, it cannot be real. No, wait, both articles are written by two different women. So maybe next time you're trying some shaming tactics, try the usuals. Receding hairline, small d, whatever else.
So something I get told quite a lot is that us feminists are just misandrists and that we hate all men. And I'm like, oh, come on, guys. You know that can't possibly be true. Because misandry doesn't exist.
Oh, it doesn't. Well, explain this then. Dictionary. Definitions from Oxford Languages. Misandry. Dislike of, contempt for, or ingrained prejudice against men. That's weird, cause a feminist said it doesn't exist. How's this then? Definition of misandry. A hatred of men. Just in case you stay away from TikTok, this is how it goes. Half of these lunatics will want you to believe that misandry is not real and it's just a made-up term, and they hate men but they're not misandrists, and the other half are proud misandrists, and they're proud also of hating men. I guess it doesn't even matter, really, since the common denominator is the hatred on men.
Feminism unalived a woman today. She wanted to prove to her little girl that she was strong as a man. And she was deleted as soon as she picked it up.
It's not really a recent video, I saved it a while ago. I was not really sure if to post it or not because it's sad, it's tragic. But this is what happens, this is the result when you're brainwashing people and when you're pushing weak minds to compete with an entire gender because they're penis envy or they fail biology completely. Anyway, there's one more video after this one, but let me say my goodbye right now. I would strongly suggest you don't watch the end. You don't watch the other video because it's disgusting and it's gonna turn your stomach. That's your warning. If you really want to watch it, go ahead, but make sure you don't eat. So let me say my goodbye right now. I do appreciate you all for watching. I do hope you enjoyed today's video. Stay safe and I will see you in the next one.
Yes, this is your sign right now. Go do it.
Yeah, so if you're still here for some weird reason, in case you're wondering what she's using as a face mask, stop. You guessed it from the beginning. It's her period blood. Now, I usually don't care. You do whatever you want to do as long as it doesn't affect me. I really don't care. But what worries me is that she is selling courses. She's a mentor. She's selling 3 months mentorships. And that's not even the worst part. The worst part, what really worries me is that she has 55,000 followers. Not to mention 1.2 million likes. I think we really are doomed as a species. There's no bright future for us anymore. Maybe that's why the filthy rich are thinking about leaving the planet. Anyway, again, thank you all for watching and I'll see you next time.